Very good evening, everybody, to yet another interesting discussion. We've been discussing a lot of topics every Friday, an initiative from the Visionary Women's Circle, which is the first business accelerator for scalable and professional women entrepreneurs, especially from Indian chapter. So today, directly, I'll move on to the topic. This is one topic which is very, very close to my heart. So I'm Kadamri, by the way, founder, We Do, and Visionary Women's Circle. And Visionary Women's Circle has a lot of members from across India. And today, along with me, I have two interesting speakers. One from our own member and president, and as well as I have a very interesting person, a mentor from Bangalore. Before inviting them, I would like to talk about or mention the topic on discussion. I'm sure many of us would like to hear this and also contribute. Innovation in business, which is absolutely inevitable, navigating disruption and staying ahead. So directly, I would like to invite our guest today, Divya Sriram, speaker, Visionary Women, a president, VWC president and president of Anil Engineering Private Limited. And then we have Mr. Dinakar Murthy, managing partner of Samyutna Coaching and Consulting LLP from Karnataka. Am I right, sir? You're from Karnataka, right?
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
Yes, perfect. So we have them and we are going to dive into the topic directly. So welcome, sir, and welcome, Divya. And I'm sure we've been here for quite some time, and I'm looking forward to hear both of you, especially in this very interesting topic. So, innovation, right? So, first thing, innovation in business, especially in the disruptive environment right now. So, let me begin with Mr. Dinakar. I would like you to open this session here today about your thoughts on innovation in business. Over to you, sir.
Oh, thanks a lot. First of all, thanks a lot for inviting me for this event. It's quite an honor for me to participate here. Thank you so much.
Likewise.
So you ask about innovation. Let me share my thoughts of innovation because my entire life or majority of my life I spent in a company called as Bosch. Bosch is a automotive tier one supplier, and possibly the company in the world. I said the company in the world with the maximum number of patents being filed every year
Wow.
globally. And I was there from 1986 till 2012. And during this journey, something which really made me very excited was that if you look at innovation today, or let us say even last 10-15 years, there has nothing which has been so phenomenally new. For example, when the light bulb was invented,
Hmm.
or when the telephone was invented by Graham Bell, or
Hmm.
when computer was invented, those inventions were some things which really changed the way we live, changed the way we work, and
Absolutely.
change the lifestyle so that there was some kind of a quality induced in the lifestyle. Microwaves, for example, or mobile phones. Whereas today, innovation, and even in Bosch, most of the innovations are basically those which deliver significantly higher value at the same cost. Value means overall value. Value could be
I
for
get
the stakeholders, which could be customer, could be shareholder, employee, whoever be the stakeholder, for them
it.
to really get a significantly higher value at the same cost, or significantly lower cost for the same value. These are the two directions of innovation.
Super.
Whether whatever be it, we call it as disruptions, and you look at our disruption of the taxi aggregators, for example, which never was
Hmm.
there. Simple disruption, though it is called as a disruption, it is really nothing new as such. It is basically creating enormous amount of value for the same cost, and at
Hmm.
the same time, the cost also came down. That's on the IT side. If you look at something which is more on the hardware side, I don't know whether you heard of a refrigerator called as Chota Cool. Have you heard of
Hmm.
that?
Yes.
Chota
No.
Cool is a refrigerator which is done by Godrej,
Hmm.
which basically was designed so that in rural homes, the refrigerator could be run by a solar charger. That means it would get charged. It's a small box, and the
Okay.
refrigerator also has a mobile charger. That means you can plug in your USB to charge the mobile phone,
Awesome.
and it can store some medicine. And that is some innovation which they did, and that I'm not very sure whether it was very well accepted in the market or not. Later, that innovation came to a big use from my sources in Godrej when COVID hit us.
Mm.
There to transport vaccines, and the vaccines could not be transported without
Mm.
lower temperatures, right?
Mm.
And there, this refrigerator came into a big. It was a kind of a huge boon, so that vaccines could be distributed everywhere. So, in my opinion, innovation is all about trying to increase the value significantly at the same cost, or reduce the cost significantly for the same value. That is my understanding of innovation,
Beautiful,
and then
beautiful.
we
I
can
think
really
that
branch
was
off in all directions.
I think that was very, very beautifully put, sir, in simple language, all about optimization and adding and creating more value. A value for money, value for everything overall. Fantastic, sir. And let me go to Divya. Divya, your thoughts at this point about understanding innovation in business in the current scenario. I mean, your thoughts.
Thank you, first of all, Kadambari, for having me here, and a wonderful, interesting topic that hailing from an oil and gas industry as an accidental entrepreneur, innovation and inventions has been the only solution for me to sustain the business of a brand for the last 53 years as second generation entrepreneurs. Now, while Sir is saying that it is a lot of value addition in terms of cost and other aspects, I'm looking it as a solution provider. While there are a lot of options available in the market, now what is your unique product or the service that you are bringing in or creating a market, creating a demand, and then you are providing some sort of optimized solution for a particular problem in place. So I believe and I look at it that way. When we create some sort of a solution, and as Anil Engineering, we have IPs, and for us, continuous R&Ds are always, it's like for us, Lego in the mind.
Mm.
So we sort of to stay ahead, to disrupt or to navigate in the existing business landscape. Research and development is key, and the main aspect that I like to see it as a solution provider in a unique, optimized manner.
Fantastic, Divya. So, since you brought this up, change is the constant, but
Absolutely.
implementing change is always a challenge, right? So, when it comes to innovation, how does it directly impact the business internally, externally, or let's put it on a holistic perspective? What are the constant challenges which a business faces when it comes into implement or probably facing innovation as such, like overall when it comes to innovation, what are the challenges you think is there ahead for an organization because there is change involved here? Can I hear a little bit about your stories and your experiences? Can we start with Dinakar, sir?
Sure. First of all, when we had,
I think
uh,
since she was already speaking, you.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Yes, go ahead, Divya. Yeah.
so the first step that we did was to understand the market, how much of a demand or how much of a gap is there between the demand and supply. That was the first study that we as an organization, as a business, did to understand if there is any scope at all if we begin to invent something or innovate something. These are basically just ideas and thoughts that you want to do something, you want to create a new product, create a new service that probably puts you in a unique place, adds a lot of value to what existing market is there. So identification of the gap to fill that demand is very crucial, in my opinion. That will always be my first step. The second change would be on the capital front. You should really analyze if this product or this service or the project could, bring a return on the investments that you're planning to put first of all in place. Considering the investments we talk about, then comes the financial metrics. Is the organization first of all capable of taking that particular investment to proceed forward? Because these two are the first things that has to be, analyzed thoroughly and kept in mind, and a crucial resource these two are when we plan to proceed with some kind of an innovation or an invention.
That's awesome. Over to you, Dinakar sir. You
Yeah,
started.
so I feel what you said was very true, Divya ji. First is to understand the market. So I feel most of the times the that's the core. Unless we understand what the customer pain points are and really immerse in the reality. When I say immerse in the reality, maybe spend some time in a village to understand what is their life, to be part of the customer, to spend some time with their loved ones in their environment, to really understand, to really immerse in the reality. Not just about doing a research, it's about living that particular life. And that is one of the most important thing, to understand what the real pain point is. Once that pain point is understood, then within organizations, like what Divya was telling, there are a lot of intelligent minds who would come up with solutions to meet that particular need. But then there is another problem, that these people who come with solutions to meet that need become so excited with the solution that the need gets forgotten. Then we start working and optimizing the solution continuously, up to a point where we have got a proof of concept and everything is done. And then at that point, possibly, like she was telling, we need to understand capex, what is the amount of money required, etc., etc. That comes at a later stage. First step was to find a solution to that problem, how the solution would look like. And once one gets excited with the solution and forgets the market need, because that is the primary purpose of innovation,
Beautiful. Well put. Yeah.
then the entire thing is lost. If you look at number of startups in India who succeed, each startup is innovative. Each startup is trying to solve a problem, and they've got their own way of solving the problem. But 99% of the startups which fail because they are excited about the problem and not trying to find a solution to the market need, which was the initial step. Same has been the case with the corporate company. When I look at my example and my experience from Bosch, same was the situation, where we would start with trying to find a solution to the market problem. Then we get so excited with the solution, whatever we have developed. It could be something in microns, or some service having 24 bar 7 throughout the world, or somebody being able to be accessible wherever you are, anywhere in the world, through mobile networks and things like that. Whatever be the solution, and we are getting so excited with the solution that the market need takes a secondary place. And when that
That's
happens, then I feel that there will be a huge what should I say, disaster. Otherwise,
beautiful.
once if the market need focus is there in the entire process of innovation, then I don't think anything can stop us in continuously evolving. At the same time, I also believe that an organization which is continuously innovating, continuously changing, to some extent could confuse people. So it's important that you have
Pace it out well.
pace it out well, so that you are not constantly bombarding with new ideas and new technologies every day, so that the organization gets confused, and that confusion leads to lackness, leads to lethargy, leads to an inertia within the organization, which then becomes very difficult to change. You know, that's my
That's
take on
uh,
innovation.
that was profound points, in fact, sir. It's about knowing when to innovate, when to launch. Sometimes you may have a lot of innovations, but it cannot be taken off the shelf immediately. It might be something which the environment, the market is not ready for. So that was a very good point. And another, so reiterating the points that you mentioned, to put it more in a precise way, when it comes to innovation, most of the times looking at problem solving and gaps in the existing market. These are two areas where innovation actually, as Divya mentioned, can put us again ahead our competition. So, well
Absolutely.
mentioned. Yeah. So now from this foundation, I would like to take it to another very, very, very interesting, something very close to my heart is about collaborations. So probably about even 15-20 years ago, we were only talking about competition, competitors having advertisements about bombarding each other. But now we've moved and evolved more towards a very collaborative and a conducive environment, which probably it is like without collaboration, probably we will not have a lot of innovations coming out. So collaboration and innovation, how well do they go hand in hand? And some thoughts and some sharing on these lines.
See,
Yes,
I'll
sir.
go first. First of all,
Yes.
collaboration when there is direct competition will not work. Okay, though it's a very nicely, what should I say, worded philosophy or a thought, it won't work. If I am competing with somebody in the same space and trying to collaborate with that person, though is a wishful thought, it won't work. Okay, I'm talking from my uh, personal experience of about 35, 40
So since
years.
you
But
mentioned this, how does or with whom? How do you choose
yeah,
your
let me
collaborator
let me come to that. See, collaborations can happen only if you are trying to meet a particular customer. You look at a customer whom you are serving. Let us imagine you are serving, we'll take the case of oil and natural gas segment. That is a customer base that we are serving, and to that customer base there will be other companies providing other services similar to ours but not directly competing with us. If say I am manufacturing a valve and I've got a lot of new technologies and new patents and new ideas in making the valve better, cheaper, faster, or smaller or bigger, whatever be the requirement, then to compete with another valve manufacturer will be killing myself, because the moment I collaborate, my know-how gets drained out. Whereas at the same time, when that valve manufacturer is also having possibly a pipe manufacturer, or maybe they have got somebody who is supplying them uh, tools, or somebody who's supplying them the base platforms for the oil rigs, or something of that kind. Now, if these companies come together, then try to look at providing a solution which is going to be far superior than what the customer is getting today, by combining the intelligence of all these non competing companies. That could really cause a big impact in the industry. But like I said, competing directly to with a collaborating directly with a competitor is
Hmm.
though it is nice, it's not going to work.
It might
Otherwise,
be
it's not.
risky as well.
It might. It is definitely, it is risky, definitely. And I want to say that look, there are multiple cases of innovation. Okay, maybe I just go in that direction. Then after that, we can come back to collaboration. See, I wanted to talk about two examples from my experience. I'm talking about examples which are simple. Okay, I have a client by name Offie Needs. Offie Needs is the name of the company.
Yeah.
They basically started with gifting, and after that, they have diversified, innovating. I take this
Mr.
company because it
Srinath,
is
if
really
I'm not wrong, right? Mr.
Shrikant,
Srinath?
Shrikant,
Srikant, yeah, okay.
Shrikant Acharya. Now they
Yeah.
started Shrikant Acharya and Shubhra Acharya. Shrikant is the CEO, Shubhra Acharya is the COO,
I
his
know
sister.
them from the gift wrap days. Like I know a
Correct,
key
gift wrap.
employee from the gift wrap
Correct,
days.
correct,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
And after that, there is Srinath, who's on the board of the company, but he is not actively involved. Now, this company started as gift wrap. I've been with them for almost now 10, 12 years. I guide them, mentor them, consult them in various areas. So during COVID time, it was almost a dead end. Nothing much was happening, you know. So they came up with the idea to really see what are we going to do. There's nothing to do. So then the idea was to really see how are we going to serve the industry now. Their clientele were all the companies who are basically buying gifts. So they came up with an idea of what is called as KitUp, KITUP, KitUp. Okay, KitUp is a new vertical wherein you have a new employee who is recruited, onboarded, and for this new employee, Offi Needs would buy all the materials required for that employee as a kit, as a kit for joining in. And
Mm.
most of the cases during the COVID time, the onboarding was done also remotely. Nobody would
Yeah.
physically be present, you know.
Mm.
So these guys, they got the materials from various vendors, prepared a kit. Kit could have a cap, could have a dairy, could have a mug, could have a pen. something like that. It's nothing so great. And then that kit would get supplied to the employee to his residence or her residence, wherever it is in India. And that became a big success during the COVID time. They really, in fact, had more business during COVID time than pre-COVID time. You know, so that's a value which they added because they could understand what's happening in the with the customer. Then another vertical was what I call as the home office, apart from Kita. So home office again on another online store which started selling microphones, headphones, then your UPS, small UPS units, computers, whatever that is required for you to build a home office. And this was through some kind of a collaboration with the company, where the company would give a budget and they set up micro sites. They call it the micro websites for each company. And in that company, the employee could choose whatever they want. And these choices were predefined by the company. So what I'm trying to say is there is always a possibility of innovating something. You have to collaborate, of course. In this case, the collaboration was with all the logistics companies for
Brands.
delivery to the house, collaboration with manufacturers of component of parts which they were not doing, you know, and that really gave a huge boost in their sales. That company is doing well. It will continue to do well. They have a big ambition to grow, and they're going to grow. So that's one example. The other example, another client, this customer, I'm not sure whether I can disclose the name. They're a multinational company from Mysore, and they have an innovation in creating. It's a manufacturing company. I think Divyaji, yours also must be in some way manufacturing, right? They have an
Yes, we are OEM.
innovation. Yeah. So their innovation is transparency to the customer of the order status. That means your ERP systems today have the
Mm.
possibility of telling you whether the material was ordered, whether the first operation was done, assembly was done,
Yes,
sub-assembly was done, everything is available on the
stage
system.
wise.
So that stage wise. And that entire thing is now made transparent to the customer. Of course, only customer can see their orders. Whatever order is there, I go in and see, find out where it is. It is like Pizza Hut showing you the progress of your pizza being baked. Okay.
Delivered. Yeah.
That simple it is. And just that innovation gets them a premium price of almost 20-25% more than the competition. They don't compete on price because the customer feels that these guys, when I order on them, I really know when I'm going to get the material, and there is a good amount of reliability that I can track very
Absolutely.
easily, and such innovations again are possible only through collaboration, because there the collaboration would be with the logistics companies who have to provide the information of the
And
position of the truck.
technology integration.
Technology integration to a great extent can be done independently, but then the entire ecosystem should be collaborating with them for them to say, where is my order today, you know
Correct.
what is the status of my order today, and these technologies are available, but they have to get interconnected. So which
Exactly.
means again another example of collaboration which could give
Amazing.
huge benefit. Yeah.
So this point is well beautifully put. So innovation is not just in the product, but could be in the process, as you mentioned right now, and also in the business model, the way you cater to your customer. The
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, and also about the convenience. End of the day, having the customer in mind, and the needs of the customer, the process being aligned. So, innovation is just not about the product, but it's also in the process of delivery. Amazing. Thank you, Dinakar sir. And
Absolutely.
Divya,
Absolutely.
yes, go
Uh,
ahead and add your points.
I'm seeing this innovation can be applied any which where, either innovating in your brand visibility, promoting your brand as well, and also partnering, collaborating with other stakeholders or developing stakeholders. Like, for instance, when we talk about manufacturing or oil and gas segments, so there needs to be a specific set of valves. Like, for instance, we are manufacturing valves. Now, if I want to collaborate with somebody who wants everything in a huge quantity, like for instance, now what I would like to highlight here is, now I have identified lorry organizations, transport organizations, which would like to stock my valves so that there is no delay, because when a lorry comes, you only dismantle it, fit it, check it, test it, give a go, QC is over, and then the lorry is good to go. So your downtime is reduced thereby. So that is one kind of collaborating when we talk about saving time and applying these kiosk kind of a setups in major highways or these transport development authorities, or even the stations where they refill, clean, and it's called purging process. So they sort of drain the pressurized liquid or any liquid that the vessel is carrying. So then the vessel is entirely clean. The tank is completely cleaned. The spares are refitted if there is a requirement, and then the gas or the liquid is refilled again, and the QC is done. Checking everything is done. It's about 1 to 2 hour of a process. Now, if there is a downtime when we are looking at saving these kind of time durations, when they might be on a timeline as well. So in such a cases, we've developed collaborations with these associations where we stock our valves in hundreds or thousands of number, where it's extremely time saving and it's plug and play concept. So you develop a concept altogether where that is one kind of an innovation in terms of the process, just how we discussed. So you just plug and play it and it's all good to go. So the kind of delivery is, the model is also a different model, rather than taking it an order, processing it, dispatching it, and then you are stocking it elsewhere in a godown or something. Now, when I talk about this kind of delivery models, I would also like to highlight the kind of innovations that I personally did with one of our We Do members for my brand promotion and visibility, especially in South American and Latin American countries, where the name itself is very unique. It's an Indian name. It has to be catchy. People has to look into it. People has to seen with the brand. So what I did was I collaborated with one of our women entrepreneur who does sustainable bags and manufacture leather goodies. So we put our logo in a very very big thing. We supply. We used as a goodie bag for all the people who visited our stall in the expo. So it was a wonderful opportunity. People were at least wanting to come back to take the goodie bags, and then that was one strategy of pulling people into your
Attracting
brand as well.
Okay, interesting.
So that collaboration for me worked very well, and also I think I'm very happy to showcase women entrepreneur handmade goods in some other country. So that for me was a win-win.
That's wonderful. So Divya
Absolutely.
brings this point. Yes, go ahead, Dinakar sir.
No,
Yes,
absolutely. I
please.
think what she said was very true. You were talking
Yeah.
about the reduction in time, right? The downtime. See, I am of the opinion that if you have to drive innovation in an organization or amongst the team, one needs to have a understanding of the ideal state. Okay, this is
Yes.
something which is quite normal in German context or a Japanese context. There are just take those two examples to share my perspective. See, the Japanese don't really have a big vision, but they have understood what the ideal state is. They're very clear what the ideal state is. Ideal state is your downtime should be zero. Ideal
Yes.
state is your replenishment time should be zero. Ideal state is your cost should be zero. When you buy something, you should get free of cost. That is the ideal state. Ideal state is when you are selling something, maybe your profitability should be 100%. For example, or it could be 200%. Depends on your. It's not where you are talking about 5% profit or 10% profit. Ideal state could be that your ROI should be within a day, things of that kind. That once that mindset is that is understood. Japanese have understood that. Even a German understands that. The only difference is in Japan, they know where do you stand today, and they are constantly striving to move towards the ideal state. Not just one person, but everybody in an organization, everybody in the ecosystem is trying to move towards the ideal state. That is what the Japanese way of working is. Therefore, you have excellent quality, excellent innovation, excellent products. And in the German case, it's other way around. For them, ideal state is known, so they want to perfect the ideal state, perfect whatever they're doing towards the ideal state. It's not about improving, but they want to leap and then achieve that ideal state today. That is the desire and that is the drive in the German case. So if you look at both the situations, the ideal state is the key driver. I'm not sure when you look at innovation, in how many cases, with how many people, there is even an understanding of the ideal state, because the ideal state is the one that drives innovation, that drives invention. When somebody said that, look, when I order a taxi, I can't wait for 2 hours for the taxi to come from some place and then come and pick me up. I need to get it in 10 minutes, and that ideal state was achieved through a Uber or Ola or whatever today. You know, so towards the ideal state, and the day may come when I don't need to wait for 2 minutes, right? My AI based
Beautiful.
systems would possibly forecast that I may be needing a taxi in the next 10 minutes, so start that activity now itself, like what happens in our brain. 10 minutes later, when I want a taxi, taxi is available there. A day will come, it will not be very far from now. So again, you are moving more closer to the ideal state. So I want to just emphasize on this ideal state when you spoke about the time. To understand the ideal state. The ideal state is the one that drives innovation.
That's a profound point. I think it is more like a touch or a lighthouse kind of a thing, the ideal state. Because in the process of innovation, sometimes, as you earlier mentioned during our conversation, we get overwhelmed and forget the focus. But this guiding light of ideal state will enable one to make sure that there is no wastage, cutting wastage without cutting corners, end of the day achieving your ideal state. So beautifully put. So from here, let me take the conversation towards, though we are talking about innovation and change and all of that, practically when it comes to measuring the success of an innovation, right? I think you did mention about the ideal state. So if we get there, I think everything gets covered there. But to get into more details on measuring the success of an innovation, when do you actually decide that your innovation is working, and when do you pull out or when do you pivot? So some thoughts on that. Let's start with Divya.
So this is a very, very important aspect when we talk about innovation as it is. As an organization, one, you have to have your performance indicators. It's not just for the people, but also for your product line and also the innovated product, especially one, it is the ROI that is going to bring in. The kind of capital investments which is gone has to be, capitalized. You create a market, you create a demand, you supply it, you capitalize it. That is one point of the one major chunk of, I think, the innovators in India are struggling, especially on this front because of the capex. The second aspect I would think is if the product that we have created is sustainable. Is it going to have a future? Is it a short term product or is it a long term life? The product is going to last because it is directly proportional to the brand value. Now, when we talk about long term, when we talk about sustainability, having a lot of these environmental changes, I mean, coming from an oil and gas industry, there is a constant development from fuel oil. We said LPG, now we are saying LNG, we are moving towards green fuels, we are moving towards hydrogen. There are a lot of constant innovations and research happening considering the climate change and the future environment at stake. So when we develop a product that should be sustainable, is it having an environmental impact? Is it going to save some kind of natural resources? Is going to be one major aspect that will determine the measurement, the metric of
ESG.
sustainability for that product. So these two for me are very important when I talk about measuring. And then third comes your performance. Is your product an effective solution provider? Is it really solving the need of the people? Because that's why you have created it in the first place. So is this product performing to the maximum potential? Is it being efficient enough so that you will only get more orders in that perspective?
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. End of the day, having your business in mind is very, very important, so that your ROI gets saved. And with along with it, I would also like to ask you another question on the risks, the risks that should be, what are the points that to be considered when it comes to taking a calculated risk. So, to you, sir, Dinakar, sir.
Yeah, so firstly, I want to second whatever Divya said. I totally agree in terms of the purpose of innovation in the context of business. See, today we are not talking about innovating for the sake of innovating, right? It's about innovating for some commercial outcome. So, therefore, it's important that innovation results in revenue, results in profitability. Top line and bottom line, they are the key
Yes,
metrics for any innovation. Of course, before we get into those metrics, it's important that first of all you prove the concept. First stage would be to make sure that the product, the POC is done, whatever solution we are trying to do, and that has to be proven. And then we should ensure that there is a product market fit. Only then can you calculate the projected revenue and projected profits. Now, the stages would be first you have the POC, then after that product market fit, and once these two are cleared, then you can talk about what is the projected revenue and projected profitability, again based on actually what you are able to generate from the customer with your
absolutely.
MVP, which is the minimum viable product, and then you can get some revenue generated there, and based on that you can estimate what would be the actual revenue. Unless these are positive, unless these show a favorable impact, I don't think we should follow that innovation path. We should put an end to it immediately, and at the same time understand what went well and what didn't go well. There are a lot of lessons to be learned. Celebrate that we stopped it early because there is no point in burning money for a long time. We stopped it early and then understand what went well, what didn't go well, and then restart again. Restart immediately. You know, that would be my take on innovation and how would you measure the success. Of course, it is important to also look at what impact the innovation has on environment, on sustainability. All that is necessary. We cannot really leave it aside. But the primary thing is profitability and revenue. I can't think of any company
Totally.
in the world who would work for sustainability and
Without
sustainability targets without having revenue and without having a
profitability.
positive profit. It's
Okay,
not very easy to imagine. Now,
absolutely.
having said that, you spoke about risk, right? And so risk assessment is something which is very important and very essential. And for risk assessment to happen, the best way to do it, in my experience, is to use diversity. See, when you are talking about any solution, people talk about diversity in companies, gender diversity, the regional diversity, ethnicity being diverse. All this diversity means what? You are trying to get people from different backgrounds, different uh, lifestyles, and different upbringing, so that they have a different perspective, right? And where can they contribute the different perspective? Not when the execution is happening. Once you have defined the product and done the innovation and it is being sold, they bloody well fall into the line and then do the same thing what has been told to do. At that time, diversity will be a real killer, because if everybody wants to do their way, then your execution will go for a toss, and that is one of the main problems in India.
Mm,
See, we are damn good at being bringing diversity in execution
mm,
and monopoly in strategy. Where the diversity will work is for strategy, for risk assessment. That is a fantastic platform. You talk about your solution with as many people as possible, of course, making sure that they are not going to be stabbing your back, and and get their perspectives. And these
mm,
perspectives are the ones which would generate a very robust risk register through
mm.
which mitigation can be done, and the project, whatever you are trying to create and innovate, will be successful. So it's important that diversity is the key for a very good risk management.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think that's well put. So, coming to my almost last question, with AI around the corner, where do you see the future trend of innovation? Uh, let's begin with Divya, especially with AI around the corner.
Well, I always believe that human asset capital can always not be replaced by AI. Although there are a lot of, technical advantages to that particular segment altogether. Like, for instance, AI can be applied to a lot of segments across industries, across these things. But it can never replace that human touch of innovation and invention, in my opinion. And especially in some of the segments like finance and regulatory, when we spoke about risks, the risks does not stop only in pricing or contribution or the margins or the sustainability, but also in depth, where you also can be having a lot of financial risks based on your socio-economic conditions when your government changes, or probably the schemes and the policies which are in line with the industry kind of goes for a change. So that is also one kind of risk, and these kind of regulatory authorities and apex bodies that are involved in certifying or licensing or approved any particular product process or service. I think these cannot be well replaced by AI totally. Well, AI is very, very important, especially in networking, product marketing, branding, sales, etc. That can be a wonderful application.
Okay, okay, okay. Yes, let's hear Dinakar sir. Yes, over to you, sir.
So AI, in my opinion, in the next couple of years will be a game changer in innovation. I'll tell you why. See, as human beings, we are used to uh, knowing that something is not okay, but still do it. We know that something it should not be done, but we still do it because we just don't have intelligence, but we also have willpower. We have got our consciousness and all that. Therefore, many a times we take the path which will probably not work, but still we want to try it out once again with a different perspective. Whereas AI would not do that. If AI knows that something didn't work, it didn't work. That's a fact. So therefore, the speed at which any solution would be validated in the future would be phenomenal. So the innovation time from idea to reality would become very, very fast, because the number of iterations in any innovation would drop down significantly. When I mean iterations, when you're trying to innovate, you will normally innovate and then do a POC, and after that, that POC gets tested, it doesn't work. Then you have to go back to the drawing board again and redo the same thing. Go back to the drawing board again, redo the same thing. Depending on the type of solution you are trying to solve, the number of iterations can be anywhere between three. Three, in my opinion, is quite normal for whatever be even the simplest problem. You will find something which doesn't work after the POC is done. It can go in run into tens, run into 20s iterations before it is really working well. Now these iterations will come down. If the iterations come down, then the speed of execution will increase phenomenally. The ideal state is that you had an idea and then tomorrow that idea is implemented. That's the ideal state.
The man
And we
hours
will
would probably come down, but
not the man
still
hours, the entire duration. Not the
duration.
man, see, entire duration. See, if you have an idea today, let us say you have an idea today to find a solution to what comes to my mind, breast cancer. Okay, you have a molecule, you want to try it out. You got some idea, and then some. You're a specialist in uh, clinical psychology, clinical research, and
Yes,
you've
sir.
done microbiology and whatever it is, and then you found a solution for breast cancer. There is one of my mentees who does that. One of the person is she's doing that. So once you do that, then you try to test it out. And when you tested it out, it didn't work for whatever reason, right? And then you got some results. From that result, again, you have to optimize it. Now, this entire process, it may not involve only man hours, but it may involve waiting times, because the
Hmm.
test may not happen immediately. So that entire thing will
Yes,
get compressed. Will get compressed exponentially. So 10 years from now or 20 years from now, if you have an idea, you would be in a position to arrive at the workable solution much faster
much
than
faster
what we do today using AI.
using AI.
I remember one situation from Boeing. My cousin, he's a world renowned authority in warranty engineering. His name is Pramurthy,
Hmm.
and he was a consultant to Boeing. He's a authority in warranty engineering. He's written a couple of books. Lives in Australia, and he used to tell me that Boeing 777. I don't know whether any of you have
Hmm.
flown
Hmm.
this
Yeah.
aircraft. It's a good one. Okay, damn good,
Yes.
damn good aircraft. Boeing 77, I believe, was designed, and they never did any test flight at all. It was
Hmm.
designed,
Hmm.
manufactured, And the first flight was without any prior testing at all. There was no hardware testing done.
Oh.
They just designed it, manufactured it, and flew directly. And the reason for that was Boeing over the last 30, 40 years or 50 years has been constantly collecting information from the market whenever something fails, either in the field or during their endurance test, because they conduct what is called as lifetime testing. Any
Mm.
engine, for example, is run till it really crashes, till it fails. So you know what
Mm.
is the total life of the engine, and during the time, you find out which part got worn out and why did it get worn out. You do a problem analysis, and
Mm.
I'm sure Divya would also be doing that in her company for oil and natural gas components, and that information would get into the design guidelines systematically. That means when you
Beautiful.
know that a particular radius on a particular component caused a problem, you put that as a gate in the design guideline. It's a kind of a barrier. So even if you want to put a radius, for example, now talking about engineering, let us say you want to give a radius of zero point 0.2 millimeters. The system says that if it is zero point 0.2 millimeters, it will fail. So it has to be minimum zero point 0.4 millimeters. You cannot put zero point 0.2, you know, and that is built into the system itself. So when you are designing, you can only do zero point 0.4, you cannot do zero point 0.2. And such boundaries, if they continuously get fixed from the design stage, therefore they had a design software, whatever that they were doing in Boeing, which would only allow you to design what really worked, and that's a core competence of the company, right? That's
Beautiful.
something which, so that
Precision.
entire that entire process, in my opinion, will get speeded up exponentially with AI.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's amazing the way, I think a very simple example, not even the tip of the iceberg, is a chat GPT. So you have it all, but yes, the one most important element is the human just needs to know how to leverage it. And if you
Yeah,
know
absolutely,
how to
absolutely.
leverage it, it speeds up the process. End of the day, it boils down to
That's where I mentioned the human touch, because you have to
exactly,
use it the right way.
exactly. Perfect, perfect. So I'm
See, the
really excited
AI
to
can only help you. AI can only help you to speed up some manual activity, but
Absolutely.
otherwise,
but
the
end of the day you
basic
need to do the
decision
thinking.
making, yeah, decision making has to be the human
Yes.
only, right?
Human.
I don't think we will be having a day when, but still, there could be situations where AI could take
Prompt.
routine decisions. You know, routine decisions. For example, when the temperature is above 2 degrees, then you have to switch on the compressor. That kind of a decision could possibly be taken by AI over time. You know, which already is being done today. You don't call it as AI, but any closed loop control system does the
Automation.
same thing.
Mm.
Any
Yeah,
closed loop control
there
system
is
does the
a
same thing.
movie. There is a movie in Prime or something. It's called Teri Baaton Mein Ulja Ja, where the human who designs robots kind of falls in love with a perfect system that is a robot. He didn't know that the woman was a robot. He was expecting only perfectionism. Everything was easy with that person. And ultimately, he finds out that it's a robot. And eventually, they want to test it in the human atmosphere. He brings into the family and all. And then things start spiraling, in a downhill manner. That's when they realize that the human decision making skills, the capabilities with which the right kind of commands or the right kind of inputs has to be given to that particular AI was more like the moral of the movie kinds. So
The
it's absolutely,
emotional
I understand,
quotient
I mean,
probably.
resonate with what Sir says.
Okay, amazing, amazing. I think the way AI is going to, I'm very curious about every industry, how they're going to adapt this and what's going to be the boundary. And I'm sure there is a lot for us to watch down the line. So that's amazing. And we've almost come to the fag end of the program. So, innovation, disruption, final statements from both of you. So, let's begin with Divya for her final statement before we wrap up today. Yes, Divya.
Innovation is crucial when we talk about being ahead. One thing, because everybody wants something new, they want to explore something in any particular industry. And when we challenge our mindsets, when we challenge our capabilities into designing something new, to design something new that can fit an existing or replace an existing product, that's when you create a new market. That's when you create a new demand for, a product, like how Apple does from Apple 6 to 14 Pro and 15 Pro, where everything is like people are waiting for it, even if they want to sell their livers and kidneys. So that's one thing where the human skills and capabilities are constantly challenged. It opens the doors, in a lot of aspects also, where you continuously learn. In a business, evolving is very important on a, dynamic landscape. When we talk about the dynamic landscape, it's always, not just in one front but in many front. When we talk about socio-economic, when we talk about technological, when we talk about a lot of challenges as well, how vaccines are getting evolved from day to day. Especially after COVID, there is a lot of new discoveries, especially in the pharma. They create the disease, they create the solution as well. So, I mean, I'm not being very blunt over here, but let's also look into the facts and the reality of where the world is progressing. So ultimately, you place your business like a map on the globe. So, and you do the analysis on where we stand. So that is a one good metric where, you have to go and what you should be doing to get there. So when you do the reverse assessment, I think it's a wonderful ball game when we want to keep inventing and keep challenging the market, keep challenging the new solutions, or creating new IPs actually.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Divya. Thank you very much. And yes, over to you, Dinakar sir. Your final statements for the day.
Yeah, see, first of all, I'm quite excited and enthused, inspired that we are having this chat. It's very interesting. And since I am on this program with the women community, Visionary Women Circle, so I would like to conclude with two or three suggestions. First is, see, if you look at the younger generation, the ones who would possibly be innovating in the next coming years, they have exponentially larger information content than what we had at that age. Uh,
Absolutely.
the amount of information they have is phenomenal. Amount of access to technology they have is phenomenal. Technology for us, when I did my graduation, was just a transistor radio, which I would assemble by buying kits in the market, and that was technology. That's all. Otherwise, there's no technology. Today, the amount of technology you have is phenomenal. So the key is neither the technology nor the information. They are much more capable than us. But the key is the curiosity, which I feel is quite low. You know, and there, as the mothers and wives drive their husbands and kids to keep on thinking, keep on finding solutions, keep on doing something. I'm not sure how you guys, as the visionary women, uh, try to do that as a system in the society so that people start becoming more curious. And once there is curiosity, automatically innovation happens, is my, what should I say, understanding and what
We
I
are
have
a curious
experienced.
bunch, sir. I will expose you to a lot more people very soon.
No,
So you'll
you
understand
are
how
curious.
crazy we are.
I'm telling, apart from you being curious, how do you create a
Create
society
an
where
environment and a
curiosity
society.
is the drive, right? Once you're becoming curious, because curiosity comes because of necessity. At our age, a lot of things were not there. For me, the biggest dream was to read a book, and in the book, I would imagine, you read the one sentence and imagine how it would be standing there, things of that kind. Whereas today, it's not the case. I read something and I want to know that, I go to YouTube and then type out that, and there's already a video on that particular place. I
Yeah.
remember when I went to Geneva the first time, I was so excited in standing in front of the United Nations building there. It was as if my entire life dream is fulfilled, because I had read some book where UN was mentioned. and they're standing in front of you. It's such a big thing. Today, you can go to UN building without getting up from your chair, right? You've got virtual
Virtual
reality, and then you
reality.
can possibly they take a drive there and test it out. Now, what I'm trying to say is that that curiosity was there in us because of need, possibly. Problem solving was a big issue. When we went into companies, no company had any systems. Even the multinational companies were not having any systems. So it was curiosity was there. So my request is to really get more and more people become curious to whatever they're doing. Why is a big question. That is one which I would like to request you as women entrepreneurs and also as visionary women to really drive that in our society. Because you are capable of that. You are much better than us gents in doing that. The next topic which I wanted to just end is see, today in technology there is what is called a low code platform. I don't know whether you have got anybody in your team who is quite familiar with that word.
Mm.
Low code platform is a platform where you can develop business applications without any code. There is low code platform
Yes.
and no code platform. No
Yes.
code platform is you can develop an application without any code at all, right?
Yeah.
Now, these low code platforms and no code platforms can simplify our business processes in companies in a
Mm.
significant way.
Mm.
Now, that is one area where I feel the innovation is going to be phenomenal in terms
Mm.
of simplifying our
Definitely.
business processes so that our entire energy can be focused on finding a solution rather than preparing data, preparing facts to find a solution. And that is one area which you could possibly focus on. Otherwise, in terms of innovation, we are not bad at all. Though we have examples from Germany, Japan, or wherever it is, which possibly existed a century back. German innovations, whether it is diesel engine or whatever that came from Germany, so many new products and innovations from America, all that happened 100 years back, not in the last 40, 50 years. And what is happening today is in India, and we are in the right place. We need to be definitely fostering innovation at the same time, bringing in a little caution, saying that look, it is important that we focus on the market need and not really work on the solution. And that's
Mm.
a big kind of a derailing motivation that most of us have as startup founders and
Mm.
also as company directors to be so excited with the solution that you keep going around that solution for a long time before you
Yes.
realize that you've burned good amount of money. So focus on the market problem, solve the problem, and innovations happen naturally, is what I would say. So, otherwise,
Great.
thanks a lot for inviting me, and wish you all the
Thank
very
you. It
best.
was
And maybe
amazing.
both of you can share your numbers to me in WhatsApp, or
Definitely.
I can do that, and then we can
Definitely,
take
sir.
that.
Definitely. And at this point, I would also like to thank Akshaya for organizing this today. And she was there doing a lot of back end work to put this together. Thank you, Akshaya, and the entire VWC team. And we welcome women entrepreneurs and women professionals to join us. It's a pan India community, and we would be able to help you with more details. Below there, you have the detail. I mean, you can get into our website and you can apply for the membership and you will be called. Thank you very much once again for such a inspiring session, a very informative session. And thank you, Dinakar sir, and thank you, Divya. You were awesome as usual. Thank you all. And we'll meet you once again on Monday on another mastermind session. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
Thank you.
much for having me.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Dinakar sir. See you. Bye.